Okay, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of WrestleSlam, the podcast, and this is our last episode of 2025. It's our Christmas special, and we're going to talk all things John Cena. We're joined by the one and only Matt Murphy and the one and only Phil Connolly, and yet again, it's been another solid 12 months, and we'd like to thank all our fans across the world for tuning our way every single week. Well, it was every week, and then it was every second week because we do every second week now, but yet again, it's been a great year for us, and we'd like to thank you all for our support. Well, for supporting us, and we're always grateful. And yet again, next year promises to be a massive year. I quickly have to mention two interviews will be up. One's up right now is the one with Brian Myers, TNA superstar, and that is up right now. And then we have another one, which will be up later today as well. So just stay tuned for that. So it is the end of an era. Retirement has come. It's been sad. The great John Cena has retired officially, and he took a loss. A loss, yes. He lost his match last night, which is a bit surprising in ways, but. Listen, we're going to go straight into it. I know a lot of fans aren't happy. I know Triple H was booed last night.
Mm.
What was your thoughts on the match? Obviously, look, some of us watched it this morning, some stayed up and watched it last night. But yet again, Cena bows out on a loss, and it's an interesting one.
Yeah, you'd always lose your going out match.
Mm,
The rare exception probably Sting in recent memory. I think
Mm.
Sting won his one. Sting's retirement match is probably still the best in recent memory. But like last night, I think it was for me it was perfect, but a lot of people don't like it because I get it. John Cena tapped out. It's how he tapped. He had a big
Mm.
smile on his face, I think, and it was just kind of like very weak tap.
Mm.
mm,
It just didn't feel right, but I think Triple H is going to take the heat rather than Gunter taking the heat, which is kind of sad.
mm,
Because we should all be mourning John Cena now, not thinking about Triple H and his booking and all that kind of stuff. It should all be about John Cena, but um, it is the end of an era, and it's I think he'll never ever come back for a match. He'll be
Mm.
back, but not for a match. Obviously, Hall
Mm.
of Fame and all that kind of stuff. But the match overall was brilliant. The atmosphere was brilliant.
mm,
Really enjoyed everything about it. And I
mm.
and I did like the ending. People don't. I did like it.
Yeah, there's a bit of a story to the ending, maybe with the smile and the tap.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a quick tap, though, wasn't it?
Well, it was just a kind of
Mm.
like that. It was just
Yeah,
weird,
yeah.
weird.
Mm,
I just wish that it was more. Probably. See, the thing is, you could say he could have just passed out in the thing, but he hasn't tapped in 21 years. It's way more impactful.
mm. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes into detail, it is.
See,
Yeah, I suppose.
the problem people have is Gunter's almost 40,
Mm.
and it should have been someone who's probably 29, 28, 30.
Yeah, yeah. He was a late starter though, Gunter. Like,
Yeah, and I just think people think that he's not going to get the rub and should have been Bram Breaker and all this kind of stuff. But
mm.
like,
Mm.
it doesn't matter who we've talked about this before. It wouldn't have mattered who Cena fought. People were going to crap all over it anyway. It
Ah,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
It doesn't matter who it was.
I heard, I heard tickets were going for quite a price. I heard there was tickets ringside selling for 20 grand.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, at one point
Mm,
anyway.
mm.
It's
Interesting.
fucking.
Did you buy one, Matt? Did you buy a ticket?
I didn't buy a ticket, no. And like, yeah.
I'm surprised. Normally Matt turns up in these places and he has a front row seat.
Yeah,
But
they know who
yeah,
I am, like.
I didn't see it the last few days, so I was kind of wondering, are you actually in a hotel room right now? I don't know.
To be fair, this does look like a hotel room, but trust me when I
Mm.
tell you that. Give me time and it's gonna be new and all that. That's one of my New
I,
Year's resolution, actually do up the new gaff, but let's move on.
I love it. I love it. Right. So Cena loses, obviously the farewell match. Thoughts on, I suppose, the whole build up to it, as the build up was pretty good all week. It's been good on WWE.com. We're seeing a lot of tributes. There was some really good tributes. I think the Brock Lesnar one was actually quite cool.
Yeah,
And obviously then at ringside we see the lights of Booker T, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Michelle McCool, Trish Stratus. Elias was actually there in between them.
That was very good,
Uh,
yeah. And Kevin
yes,
Owens as well, who's due back soon. So
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Matt, what was your thoughts on, I suppose, having all them big names there ringside and paying their respects? Haku was there as well, actually, which was interesting.
yeah,
Aku was there, yeah, I saw that. No,
Mm,
I feel like John Cena, I'm gonna be honest, as I think it's because I grew up watching John Cena. I actually
mm,
remember when I was a little kid, I remember he actually did wrestle Kurt Angle. And I kind of was feeling about his hip hop gimmick. So it was weird seeing him actually going all through WWE, like me actually witnessing him growing up. So I remember when I grew up watching, I grew up watching John Cena, I grew up watching Batista, I grew up watching Rey Mysterio, grew up watching Edge, Randy Orton, and I feel like when I was like maybe when I was younger, I took it for granted
yeah,
about
mm.
Cena because I'm at that point in my life where I'm like seeing like all these people I grew up with, they're going older, they're ready to move on. So it was kind of heartbreaking to see that Cena was kind of always the top one, seeing him like wrapping up the match. But I do see it as like seen as a wrestler that we can easily take for granted. Just the fact that, obviously older crowds don't really like him. Obviously, they grew up in a different era. Younger kids like him, mid kids always love him. So he was kind of something for everyone. So, you know, yeah, just like seeing him that he's officially going to be gone. It's like what Phil said. I can see Cena coming back here and there, not all the time, because obviously Cena has a huge acting career going on. He has like all that going on for himself. But yeah, it's just gonna be a bit emotional, like time to see that. And you know, I was a Cena fan, but I wouldn't say that we constantly wearing like that his merchandise all the time and all that. But just the fact that, he was
Mm.
part of my life all throughout my teen years, all throughout my 20 years. So it was just kind of like something to witness, just kind of a new turning point for myself. Like,
yeah,
Well, you
God,
mentioned
this
this.
got really emotional for me.
Yeah, well, you mentioned this 23 years, right? So, like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Take 23 years away from my age, and that would make me 14. So, like, I was 14 when Cena started, you know what I mean? That's pretty
Mm.
insane, do you know what I mean? And he's definitely the perfect role model. I always say that, lads. I've never ever seen Cena in a bad video, or even TMZ videos like where they approach him. He's always calm and
Yeah,
collective, and he's always a guy that thinks like like when he signs autographs for everyone. If you notice that as well, like
yeah,
he'll always put his wife into the car and he'll come back up and he'll say, "I'm going to sign all your autographs, but please don't put stuff on my face. I'll sign
yeah,
everything." He's very composed, and he's just a workhorse. I think
yeah.
he's the perfect example. Like, and I think it's interesting that Vince wasn't on the screen last night. I just wonder was Vince backstage last night?
I haven't heard stuff, but yeah, I saw he was in the clip at the end.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Vince, in my opinion, I reckon Vince was somewhere nearby, and I reckon John might have met him after in a private meeting.
Maybe,
Because
yeah.
I know Vince, for example, absolutely adored Cena, and I know Cena adored him. Um,
See, one
I
thing I don't know if
yeah,
he picked up on it, right? They were talking to Stephanie McMahon and they were giving her credit for Cena. Did you see that?
yeah,
well, yeah,
yeah.
because he was almost gone, wasn't he? She saved him, didn't she? Or
Yeah, I remember that story, which is like mad, and I think we all heard this, that John Cena was going to get released back in 2023, 2013, or 2003, sorry,
2003,
and
yeah.
he got on the bus and he was doing freestyle rapping, and Stephanie overheard him, and Stephanie was the one that says, "We might make this into a thing," and they expanded his contract.
yeah.
And I always say this, the best what if story. What if John Cena got on another bus? Or what if Stephanie got on another bus?
Mm.
Or Cena and Stephanie says, "Oh, I'm not getting on the bus. I actually got a lift coming in." Stephanie wouldn't have heard John. John would have been gone. He would have done something else, like maybe an influencer. He'll be on podcasts just talking about how WWE messed him over and all that. But that didn't happen. And it's bizarre to think about that. Every time I hear about that, I was like, what if Stephanie wasn't there? What if this didn't happen? What do we have Cena to do now? So, yeah, I'm surprised I didn't really see Stephanie around the place last night.
Yeah, yeah, that story. She spoke publicly about that, and obviously he was at the start because we're talking 2002, 2003. We're
Mm.
talking peak SmackDown, peak Raw. Like we're talking Undertaker, Edge,
Yeah.
We're talking Eddie Guerrero. We're talking a fucking
That's
insane
another
time.
thing there you were on about earlier. You're on about you're not taking Cena for appreciation at the time. There was too much
Mm.
going on. There was just too many wrestlers. There was too many big stars when
But
Cena
look,
went broke
yeah,
in.
look who he was up against, and the fact that he made that breakthrough not long after, like the fact he was up against the likes of Edge, you know what I mean, Pete Brock Lesnar,
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We're talking fucking Pete
Taker,
Triple H, Taker,
Randy Orton was coming through.
Mm.
Kane. So he came through an era like where it was very hard to crack the business, and yet again, people say he's the goat. You know what I mean? Now you have to break that down into category, right? So like obviously, like I suppose overall he probably is, and then like we have that debate, and obviously triple, like you mentioned the likes of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, Ric Flair. Um, but anyway, Cena will go down easily as probably the greatest of all time, for the entertainment perspective, for I suppose selling a lot of merch, for being, a main eventer for so many years, for being the perfect role model for kids, for being the perfect role model for adults, and yet again, what a great guy. I know
Yeah.
Matt's dad met him in Hornswoggle in Dublin.
I
That picture is iconic,
I
maybe,
was
yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say that about that. Yeah, I think my dad will know this. Everyone knows. I think I'd like to brag about this. But let me tell you a bit of a story, lads. Sit down. Let me tell you. But once upon a time, this 30-year-old man was once a teenager, once a little kid. Um, me and my dad went to Dublin back in 2010, and I was, after the show, we went back to the hotel. My mom and dad went to the bar downstairs. Believe it or not, I was way too young to go down with them, so I was just chilling out in the hotel, watching TV or something like that. Then my parents came back, and then they said, "It's like, I think we got something to show you." They whipped out the phone, and they said, "You know, the leprechaun fella." I was like, "Yeah." Hornswoggle. I was like, "Well, we saw him in the bar, and he was with some other fella." And he showed me a very grainy quality photo on the Nikon Generation 1, I believe, of him with Hornswoggle and the other guy that I was trying to pin out. And I took out a magazine and showed, "Is it this guy, Dad?" And it's John Cena. He was like, "Yeah, yeah, that was him." He was like, "Dad, that's John Cena." He was like, "I know." I was like, "Dad, he's a fucking big deal." I had to explain to him why he is like the biggest guy in WWE, but he was mostly focusing on poor Hornswoggle. So it was kind of like class that, like, going back to what you said about like John Cena on TMZ, that he's always so respectful. Just the fact that he could have just said to my dad, "No, I'd rather have my drink," or "Not today." No, he took time to take a photo with him, and I'm upset that I didn't really meet John Cena. If I did, I would have just told him how much that little appreciated meant to me and everything like that. So, yeah, I think that was at that point, I was just a John Cena fan. Not because it was just like everything, it's just that he took that appreciation for someone that mattered in my life, just showed to me.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and yeah.
C Cena seems like the kind of guy, like if we were in a room with John Cena and he took out that picture, that iconic picture taken on a Nokia, um, he's the kind of guy that would say, "Oh, that looks cool," and he'd probably have a laugh. Look at that picture, like that must have been how many years ago. Like he's the kind of guy that wouldn't cut you off fast. I think, you know what I mean. I think he's the guy that gives you the time of the day, and yet again. I have no doubt in my mind you will meet John Cena. You're going to meet John Cena in the near future because he comes to a lot of Comic Cons, and I think Matt. I know you're a secret millionaire, so look, you will eventually buy a meet and greet with John Cena in the UK. But yeah, he's incredible, and I'm just going to tell my story. And I know you hate this story, Matt, because unfortunately, we got to meet him, and you will get to meet him. Don't worry, and I'm sorry, but it was that time we were in New York and we got to meet John Cena for $10, and we got a free book with that as well signed. And yet again, he just was $1 million. It wasn't the case of like quick. It was the kind of fact that he said hello and shook everyone's hand on the way in the door. I think that was incredible. It was no fist pump. It was like he shook your hand. How are you? Thank you for coming. And then it was the hand around the shoulder, and you get your picture taken, and then we leave. It was surreal. And Phil, you were lucky enough to be there that day. $10 to meet John Cena, huh?
The weirdest thing about that was we saw as a Brock Lesnar guy trying to get in. Wasn't he on the queue? trying to get in.
He was trying to get a ticket. And I'm just getting this weird memory flashback here, right? And I could be completely fucking wrong, but I generally believe I'm not imagining this, right? Generally, I believe I'm not imagining this. We went to WrestleCon that day, right?
Mm.
If you remember, and I don't know, was it 34 or 35? I'm gonna say I could be wrong, but we looked out the window at WrestleCon, and John Cena was outside
No, that
on
was
his.
I wasn't at that one.
So that was 34. So
Yeah.
so I was there with Timmy and Darren Blake, and basically we were at WrestleCon. We were in this premises, and we looked out a window, and there was people next to us looking out this window, and Cena was on this kind of a float thing. Do you know the things that kind of go across the city?
Yeah.
And he was doing promotion for WrestleMania 34, and
Yeah,
it was just like fucking hell, like that's John Cena. Like he was a workhorse, like, and he's not afraid of the spotlight. But um, what a guy! And I'd be very, very keen to meet him again. Honestly, I think if he ever came to Dublin, the Dublin Comic Con. So this is a little clip that we're going to use for Dublin Comic Con, guys. This beautiful country, Ireland, deserves, many, many big names. And you already bring big names, guys. But if you can please bring John Cena to Ireland next year, then, or maybe the year after, we would much appreciate that very much. Thank you, um, sincerely, WrestleSlam team. So please, please
much
bring John
love.
Cena. He needs to come to Ireland again anyway. We need to take him to Cork. We need to take John Cena to the Cliffs of Moher, the Blarney Stone. We need to take him to the Pearl River
Where's
Chinese. He
that
might like.
video of Cena drinking those pints? Where is that?
Is that what Philly, is it?
Yeah.
It was,
Or is
yeah.
that or is that the ones that went up there a few weeks ago when he was in Dublin?
Oh, yeah, I think it was. Yeah, that's definitely Dublin. Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was, yeah. He went to the Sun Bear in Ireland, yeah. But there was
Yeah,
there
it
was
was,
one then of him a couple of years ago in Finley, and he
He was
didn't
only
like.
drinking. He was drinking milk that time.
Yeah, he drank the milk after it, yeah.
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 Um,
Because Cena's all about the Irish culture. A lot of people don't know this. He actually has respect for the Irish and everything like that. So yeah, he'll probably be right at home if ever comes down to Cork.
isn't his dad of Irish heritage or something? Did I read that somewhere?
Boston Irish. Yeah, sure. A lot of
Yeah,
them people would be. A lot of those at Boston would all have Irish connections.
Yeah. Do you
yeah, yeah,
remember WWE came to Boston and they cheered for Sheamus and when he came out and I was like, where's
yeah.
that? And then I remember I was watching it with my dad and he did say he's like, yeah, there's a lot of Irish heritage in the Boston area. So that's the reason.
Yeah, it'd be like Liverpool. A lot of people immigrated to Liverpool as well, and that's why in Liverpool they don't say we're English, they say we're Scouse, and it's made up of Irish and English. Yeah, it looks surreal. I think look, the ending's going to grow me, guys. I hate saying it, but look, obviously I didn't want him to lose. I was fully convinced he was going to win. There was no sign of The Rock. There was talks of The Rock and might have coming out afterwards, but
He
look,
sent he
it is.
sent a video earlier today.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that put it to bed, and they partly guessed then when everyone was doing the tribute, like that was it. You know what I mean? Like the fact that Brock and all the wrestlers did stuff. But yet again, he goes down as one of the greats, in my opinion. Like he's in my top five. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
For me, Bret Hart's always going to be number one. But yet again, there's a claim for Cena to be number one as well. Like you know what I mean? I get where that's coming from, but he's won the most titles. He's won everything in the game and just an all-round nice guy. All-round nice guy. Matt,
Uh,
any more on Cena? Anything else you'd like to say? That story, by the way, of your dad was incredible, and do you know what I mean? The picture is iconic. We should really try and get that picture up. And I think there's actually software today that helps fix pictures as well.
I need to track that down. Yeah, I need to find actually
Use
how to
the one that
actually
I
draw
use.
it.
Use Gemini.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
actually ask Phil for that. So yeah, it's gonna be adorable. I'm in the same field as Phil. So if anyone says, "Oh, you want to do some filmmaking or anything like that," and I'm like, "No, I just want to fix this photo scene with my dad." But yeah, I really want to. But yeah, no, that is on my list. Would love to meet John Cena. Whip out my phone, just tell him, "Look, you took this photo with my dad. I'm forever gonna be thankful. We never met
I think if you
before."
put it up grainy and stuff, he'd appreciate it more.
Oh, well, Granny, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But we like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
know
think
what
he
you
would.
mean.
I think he would.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah,
picture.
yeah, I
Yeah.
need to
And
find that down.
It's
But
it it's up there with Matt and AJ Lee and Daniel Bryan, a
And the thing
young
is, he is
Matt Murphy.
responding because he responded to loads of fans yesterday.
did he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's the name of it again? Granny.
No, the picture, having the picture natural. So
Yeah,
like I was saying,
don't
if
edit
you
it
put
or not.
up if you put up the picture the way it is, you know what I mean. Show them that first, and obviously try and get it fixed in as well on top of that. But throw up the original one, like.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
no.
But yeah, no, John Cena and like with Jared, my favorite wrestler of all time will always be Shawn Michaels.
Mm.
So when you mentioned about, I said this in the chat. I would love to just do a quick Cena favorite moment, best rivalry, best match. To me, I think my best match of Cena was John Cena and Shawn Michaels, not WrestleMania 23. It was the one when they were on Raw the night before WrestleMania. It was a bit of a shocker having a match of WrestleMania before WrestleMania, but I remember that they actually apparently went over the time limit
Yeah.
that they had to cancel the match after, and Shawn Michaels won. And when I saw the match, I knew Shawn Michaels wasn't going to win the title off Cena because Shawn Michaels actually picked up the title and raised it over his head. I was like, Shawn, that's a bad move. But yeah, I think that was probably my favorite match for me on Raw and all that, lads.
Yeah, no, listen, there's been so many matches, and I'm telling you, lads, it was a great time. Life was a beautiful thing when you're growing up, and I think when you're at that age, when you're like say 13, and you're moving up towards your late teens, you get a bit more freedom. Obviously, the parents can be a bit harder, because they know you're a bit more adventurous, but like they're great times. You know what I mean? The fact that you're staying up watching Cena, you know what I mean? You're seeing some great matches, and yet again, WWE was in a great place back then, but. Like Matt mentions the match with Cena and Michaels, and I can remember so many matches. I remember the time Vince ripped Tubi's quad muscles, of running out to the ring when him and Batista fucked up the Rumble, and just great times. And it's sad how fast it's gone. Now, when you do think about it, like it has gone really fast, but it does seem like a long time ago as well, where Cena first started. If you get me,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like ruthless aggression. Like I remember that. I actually remember watching that on a Saturday morning. I used to watch Soccer AM. And I think SmackDown used to be on Sky One after that.
Yeah, it used to be, but it was cut to
But
strength. But yeah,
yeah, about 11 o'clock, I think it was on, wasn't it? About
yeah,
11 a.m. And I
Mm.
always remember seeing Cena coming out and stuff. And yet again, do you know what I mean? 20 plus years of, entertainment and just being an absolute ambassador. It just goes to show why he's got the props all around the world. And, I will miss him wrestling every week, but I'm grateful that he had a retirement tour. And I hope moving forward, this is something they do with a lot of icons. I hope Jericho gets a tour like
there's a
that.
couple coming up. Yeah,
I hope Edge comes back and does something like that. You know what I mean?
and also as well, SummerSlam is in Brock Lesnar's hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
So
there
there
is
you
there a
go.
reason for it? There must be.
I'd say so. Lesnar looks like he's bigger than ever. That man is a specimen to the half. Imagine he grabbed you. Imagine fucking out wondering. Where he's living in Canada, isn't he? Yeah, he's
Yeah,
in Canada.
yeah,
Yeah,
Imagine, well, at
he's
least,
hunting gear and shit for banter.
yeah. But imagine you're this guy that's lost in some part of Canada, and you're looking like your car breaks down, and you're wandering through fields to try and find fucking a telephone or someone that can help you, and you stumble across Brock Lesnar's land, and you're walking through his land, and you just look to the left, and there's fucking Brock Lesnar with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And then he
Oh,
drops the bow and arrow and he runs towards you like this, and you're like, holy fuck.
he'll
he's
run to
walking.
you, but he'll have like a dead buck over his fucking shoulders, like
Uh,
running after
uh,
him. Like,
two fucking dead bucks that he's gonna cut up for food, and he's gonna probably fucking over jump. He's probably gonna jump a fucking stream and something else to get at you. Like, and he grabs you then. Fucking hell.
But yeah,
That's a nightmare and a half, that. But yeah, it's listen, Cena is definitely one of the greats. And
what you say your favorite match was?
my match is
Yeah,
it with
yeah,
Cena? That's a great question.
oh, go on.
Fucking hell. There's been so many, like, you know what I mean? I think I do like the one at Michaels, to be honest.
yeah.
I do like the one at Michaels.
I like the one with RVD because he could have got killed.
Was that when RVD beat him, was it?
Yeah, like
I
he
don't
could
know
have got
now.
absolutely killed going into that ECW arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite Cena general moment is what the fuck's wrong with my camera? Anyway, but no, that's my favorite Cena moment is just the image of John Cena walking to the ballroom of ECW, title over his head, and just fans flipping him off, like calling him out, head down. That's an image that will always be in my head with John
My
Cena.
favorite Cena, one of my favorite Cena moments is when he moves to Raw in the first draft. Uh,
Yeah,
Mainly because that was the first kind of real draft that they kind of came from other shows.
Mm.
yeah, I remember that actually.
Yeah,
That was I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking back to Cena as a Cena and AJ Styles. I'm gonna say Royal Rumble 2016 or 17 maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great match. He's had some great matches with
It
AJ
was. I think it
actually.
was actually 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the 18th. But I think that would have been 2018, 2017.
Yeah, something like
I,
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I remember AJ. Yeah,
I think for me it was like when I'm talking about rivalries and matches, usually I want to say him and Edge because I grew up watching that, or like himself and AJ Styles, sorry. Um, but a lot of people might be surprised. I think my favorite rivalry with Cena was him with Kevin Owens. Um, it was just because Kevin Owens was my favorite wrestler on NXT at the time, and I knew of him like in the independent scene. So him showing up to Raw facing Cena, kind of like because Cena was going through his prime. Kevin Owens, he grew up watching Cena technically, and he knew what he was all about. And just him confronting and him taking on John Cena, and Kevin Owens actually won because not a lot of people knew who Kevin Owens was.
yep.
They're like, that's some guy. But no, he took out Cena. John Cena could have just said, I don't want to go lose to this guy. I don't want to do this. But no, he actually gave him encouragement. So that's kind of a good rivalry in my mind.
Yeah,
that's always a good thing.
the
Yeah.
CM Punk one in 2011 Money in the Bank is also good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. There's so many to choose from. How long was he gone for? As you know, the way he was so active up till say, 2019. How long was he gone for? Was he gone for 2, 3 years and came back, or
He
Punk.
never really got that long. He'd always kind of show up.
seen that? Like,
Yeah,
was there
like
a time he was gone for 2, 3 years though? No.
I think you know. Well, I think he was always the thing was he always made one appearance. It was always like
Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
It was always like Ryan Giggs.
yeah.
yeah,
He'd make this one appearance in the year and that would count.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to be
And,
negative and answer
and,
that.
a, and a parents into his brother's house.
Yeah. I think I don't want to be negative Nancy or something like that, but I think my worst moment of seeing it was that brief time he would come back, but he would take loss after loss after loss. I was
Yeah, that
kind
was
of like
bad.
thinking it's seen as WWE losing hope, but I feel like the match last night redeemed himself. Like
Yeah, he went on a bad losing streak there for a while. Everyone was beating him. Fucking hell.
it was because they had to play it safe because he had like a lot of projects
Like
coming
that
on.
Austin Theory stuff was just
Yeah, that
it
was
wasn't good.
bollocks.
Yeah.
Right, look, we'll end the show because we've got about 3 minutes left. Who was the guy behind the mask?
I want it to be Montez Ford, but we'll see.
Hmm.
Tommy Invincible.
Tommy
Anybody who
Invincible.
knows who he is, I want him big on WWE now.
It's probably Montez Ford or it's probably Austin Terry.
Austin Theory's the thing.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
I like to see Austin Theory because I think he's gone away for a while. They want to make him like a big star because he's always been a Vince McMahon guy. So might as well give him a chance.
yeah,
I would always love that it's going to be somebody from AEW, not like a crossover, but someone that'll actually be a unexpected surprise. Like,
yeah. If it is Montez Ford, I think he'd be a champion too. I think
yeah,
he can get that push from there on. I think
I just
Austin
think there's
Terry.
more of a thing with him than Austin Theory's been started and going a few times.
Yeah,
mm, yeah,
yeah,
because Tomonta's Ford, like you said, he was in the tag team, the Street Profits, but he flat out always admitted he's still trying to find himself in WWE. So I think this would be a good reason for him. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're both quite young as well. Like, they're
yeah, I
both
think he's
quite
the
young.
same age as me, I think. But
28, 27. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
oh
what
yeah,
should be. They should be that young. Like it can't be someone like Chris Jericho because that guy could move. That guy moved like an insane.
Unless they give him a horse tranquilizer now before he went in and it just leaped over everything. But yeah, look, that remains to be seen. We're quickly going to end RCW, guys, the Christmas special. Our one and only, the beautiful Matt Murphy, was in attendance because I was away and Phil was away. But Matt, it was a great show. You got some great interviews, good footage, and you were happy enough with the outcome.
really happy with the outcome. Yeah, just a great turnout at the show. Yeah, CBL, I was glad I got to interview him, especially with the amazing year he had. I was able to work with him and all that kind of way. Same with
Mm.
the Fresh Knots, the Fab Bros themselves. They were great banter. I even had them on board for the infamous "ooh" moment. That was a great
Mm.
moment. But
Seen that.
the show itself was actually great. It's still hard to believe Charlie Sterling, he's the champ now, and it's like, where's the future of AEW for RCW going to go now? And
Mm.
like, that's going to be a good way for the new year. And CBL, it's not going to be the same without CBL lads because he is Cork, like he is part of the foundation, like so. But I
Yeah.
know that I have a feeling we're not saying goodbye to the guy. We're not saying goodbye to him yet.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yet again, the interviews are up on the YouTube and I was going to say Rebel County Wrestling page. Well, they're on that as well, but they're on the WrestleSlam page as well. But guys, we will be back next year. We will be back on Monday the 5th, and the show will go out on the 6th every Tuesday. Yet again, from myself, Jerry, from Phil and Matt, we thank you as always for tuning our way. The show has been going for a number of years now. And yet again, we thank you very much. But listen, have a great Christmas, have a great New Year. We'll be back in the new year refreshed. Stay classy, and we'll catch you soon, guys. See you soon. Happy
Very
Christmas,
good,
Happy New Year.
guys.
Oh ho ho.